This is Matrix Lord 212, and I'm talking to you guys about Doctor Who. I know a lot of people are really upset with the Timeless Children episode. And a lot of people thought that I was going to be upset with it. But like I said in the casts of the Real Whovians cast, 17, 71, 2, and 3, I watched the episode very closely. And I've come to the conclusion that this whole thing about the Doctor being the timeless child and unlimited regenerations, and that the adopted mother tortured the Doctor and killed the Doctor numerous times and regenerated, and she built this Gallifreyan society that would not interfere with any events in history, yet created a secret society where they would intervene in crucial events in history, makes absolutely no sense. It's all coming from the Matrix of Gallifrey, which you remember the Valeyard altered the Matrix of Gallifrey to make it that the Doctor was guilty, so he could steal his remaining regenerations to make it like he committed genocide. So the Matrix of Gallifrey could be altered and changed, and all this could be nonsense put in there. Now, the fact that the Master found it and right away relayed the message to the Doctor, one, he's tricked, or two, he's making it up. So none of this is real. And nobody should be looking at this and saying Doctor Who is done. It's all bullshit. And Chris Chibnall was not allowed to change Doctor Who canon regardless of what is said. And Moffat and Gatiss and Rusty Davis saying that there is no Doctor Who canon is basically helping out the situation. But ultimately, Doctor Who canon is not broken. It is just right now sidetracked because, there's so much stuff that was in this episode. It was always said before that the Cybermen cannot be compatible with the Time Lord, and the Time Lords could not be converted. Yes, with the help of the Master, they did convert the Time Lords. I honestly believe that this isn't Gallifrey. I think that Gallifrey, tricked the Master into thinking that this is Gallifrey, tricked the Master into thinking that these bodies, these things, maybe they were just clones placed there. Because the fact that the Master could kill all of Gallifrey and then leave the bodies where they can't regenerate, it's kind of weird how one person could do that without any type of weaponry. It didn't even use the Cybermen, didn't even use anything. It's really impossible. So I think at some point in time, maybe they had the Master and they implanted all these memories in there that he did this and he didn't do any of it. And I think they used him as a pawn, just like they used him as a pawn with the 4 knocks and the drums in his head. I think that all this was orchestrated and created and implanted in his head by the Matrix of Gallifrey. And none of this is real. Yes, they left a couple of TARDISes around for good measure to create the illusion that this is Gallifrey. They copied everything to a T, from the, the console room to the Citadel to everything. But at the end of the day, the Gallifrey was not supposed to be in the Pocket Universe. They were out of it. So I really believe that this was placed in there. And you got to remember, too, that the Time Lords can do a lot of different things despite, time travel and fixing things that are altered in time. They were very, very powerful. So for them to create a false Gallifrey, a false planet with copies of Time Lords or whatever, probably would be very easy. If they could move Gallifrey from one point in the universe to another, or, try, make it materialize without the planet getting destroyed, they could basically copy the planet, sort of like the Daleks copying Skaro, and the Master wouldn't even know any better. And because the Doctor is all emotional and upset, when the Master says, about Gallifrey, she right away goes there. She right away probably won't think, that they escaped the Pocket Universe, just like the Doctor didn't remember Madame de Pompadour. So, in the heat of the moment, the emotions, it took her a while to figure out that the guy was supposed to be a runner, a sprinter, and then it turned out to be the Master. So, in her emotions, she doesn't realize that Gallifrey escaped the Pocket Universe. Maybe it will come to her wait a minute, They can't possibly be in there because they always wanted to escape. And I met with them and Rassilon and everything in that episode, Hellbound. So, also, like, Rassilon cannot be her mother. Like, Rassilon purely hated the Doctor for whatever reason. And even though the mother tortured the Doctor to learn about regeneration energy, once that was done, she wasn't, like, killing or torturing her child. But still, like, she would not, like, she's not Rassilon. So I don't know where anybody got Rassilon being, that woman being Rassilon. Again, this whole thing about the Timeless Child, it's all hullabaloo nonsense. You can't believe it. I mean, look, I would be crushed, but I remember my Doctor Who from years and decades ago where the Valeyard altered the Matrix of Gallifrey. So he was left in charge of Gallifrey's, like, Matrix. He was the key holder of the Matrix. He created whatever, he could have created any subterfuge or any type of illusion there is. Maybe that was the whole point, is that the Matrix of Gallifrey was created there to create an illusion of a fake Gallifrey. And then it was destroyed. But Gallifrey is still around. Maybe the whole illusion of the Timeless Child was created because the Alliance did that illusion, connected with the Death Particle, to trick the Masters to that point, so that way that, like, he could die. You know what I'm saying? And everybody could die there. So that whole thing about the Timeless Child could be fake because it's connected with, the Alliance winning. Okay? So that's the whole point, is like, this is all orchestrated. Now, one of the things that came right after was that fact that the Judoon jumped into the TARDIS and sent her to a prison. It was basically like a David Tennant thing, like, boom. What? Also, the fact that the Death Particle is like the reality bomb from Stone Earth and Journey's End, where, in that sense, the Death Particle can only kill everything on a planet, but the reality bomb could kill anything in the whole entire universe, going to the next universe, So that was taken from David Tennant's Stone Earth and Journey's End. All of this was. And again, it's taken from a David Tennant episode. Now, I did think this was the best episode that Chibnall has done, but this is the biggest con job there is. And if anybody believes, and you got to really think about the episode for a minute, okay? Think how Chris Chibnall conveyed that this woman found a child running around and adopted the kid and basically tortured the kid and killed the kid over and over and over and over and over again, yet loved the kid. Think about this. Think about this for a minute. Just think deeply about it, because when you write it down or you tweet about it like I was, it makes completely no sense. So this woman created these two women, the Timeless Child, when it was regenerated into a woman, and this woman created the whole Gallifreyan society to not interfere. Then at the same time created a secret society connected to the Gallifreyan Society, Time Lord Society, to interfere. Makes absolutely no sense. Then used Matrix of Gallifrey to make the Timeless Child think that he's Brendan, when they never even went to Earth Island. It's all fake. You could see it flashing in and out. And then they called themselves the Division, and they erased the Timeless Child's memory. And there was all these incarnations that just, she basically went through tons of incarnations, killing the kid over and over and over again. And just think that this Gallifreyan, it didn't take her that long to find out how the regeneration thing worked, because let's say she was already, I guess, what, in her 40s? And she was in her 60s when she found it out. She had gray hair and everything or whatever. And she immediately injects herself and then turns into a man, which probably made her go crazy as it is. Okay, because it didn't work the way she wanted it to work. So, again, this is all nonsense. If you're a woman and you create the Time Lord Society, you would not put in place that they can't interfere, yet you want them to interfere. You know, and it just doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense because it's not real, okay? Now, Philip was yelling at me about the Valeyard. The Valeyard can't possibly be. And saying the Valeyard not around, but yet they name dropped the Valeyard in the name of the Doctor. Meaning he's still there. He still exists. It's still canon. You know what I'm saying? Like, Great Intelligence appeared after how many decades? Still canon. So, the Valeyard technically, because the Time Lords are egomaniacs, they're so full of themselves, they don't even know that the Valeyard took control over the Matrix of Gallifrey. And it's probably there for decades. He's probably manipulated stuff in the Time War where he allowed the time lock to be broken so Dalek Khan could get through and take Davros out. There was a traitor inside Gallifrey. He's the traitor. He's just caring about himself. He's all about destruction, punishing the Time Lords or whatever. So he also doesn't like the Master, and the Master hated it back then that the Valeyard was more evil than he was. The first sign of that, he told the Doctor that he's going to be an evil bastard. So the Valeyard has no love for the Master. So I'm sure he would love to manipulate the Master to go crazy more than he is before and make him believe he killed Gallifrey, make him believe that the Doctor is special and more special than he is, and that he has that thing in him of the Doctor that he could regenerate. So, again, like, whatever's with this incarnation where it's off with the Master, and it's not calm and collected like John Simm's Master was afterwards, or Missy, but more filled with rage and everything, it's all bullshit, okay? And the thing that appeared of Ruth in the Matrix basically telling the Doctor, it doesn't matter, like, what you've seen. Like, you're the Doctor at the end of the day. You're still the Doctor, right? The past is not going to change you to who you are. Just business as usual. Let's go. So, Ruth could have said flat out she was before, but she's not. She's after. What's going to happen is Jodie Whittaker is going to do Series 13. And when she regenerates, she's going to regenerate into Ruth. Ruth probably has Jo Martin's probably has a contract to be a Doctor for like a year, okay? And she's going to be the 14th Doctor, and everybody's going to be at ease that, oh, wow, you're going to have your cake and eat it too. You can have it that she's not before William Hartnell, and that she exists because the fans instantly took to Jo Martin, okay? Instantly. Even though they don't like what was going on, they loved her. They thought she was an excellent actress. So why not make her after Jodie? And that's going to be the kicker, that she lies to Jodie, that she's making it like she's before, so it could set the whole thing in motion for her to go against the Master and stuff like that. So again, Jo Martin, what they're doing with Jo Martin's Peter Capaldi in Day of the Doctor, where you saw his eyes and appear. She is the future Doctor. She is Doctor number 14. She will be filming. They have her set in place. Chris Chibnall is the showrunner for Series 14 and Series 15. And if Jodie leaves, and that's a big if, on Series 13, then Jo Martin is the Doctor in Series 14. So you have the 14th Doctor in the 14th season. Now, if they get Jodie to stay, which I'm not sure, for Series 14, then Jo Martin will be in Series 15, okay? Which will be the last year of Chris Chibnall. So, and she would only be a year Doctor. So, I mean, that's the point. I think Jo Martin's planned to be only a year Doctor. Because Chris Chibnall's got, after Series 13, 2 more series. So expect that, all right? I'm like 90% that Jo Martin is the 14th Doctor, and we've got to see her ahead of time. And I feel by the end of Series 13, it will be revealed that all this is hella blue lies. With the exception of Jo Martin, which exists afterwards. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.